You're not just waking up late. You're waking up behind before the day even begins. And no one sees it. Not your friends. Not your boss. But you do. You feel it in that silent frustration that shows up before your feet touch the ground. You tell yourself it's because you're tired. But you felt this exhaustion even on 9 hours of sleep. This isn't physical. This is directional. You're not late to a schedule. You're late to your own life. And it builds slowly. One morning becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes an identity. And suddenly, the first voice you hear every day is the one that says, "We're already behind." That voice is shaping everything. Your pace, your posture, your potential. Because the way you begin becomes the way you believe. If that hits something real, take a second and subscribe. This space isn't about discipline. It's about sovereignty. Let's reclaim the first hour before the world does. Let's stop starting our day in defeat. Let's lead again from the inside out. Most people don't lose control of their life in one big moment. They lose 1% every morning and don't even realize it. Not because they're weak, but because no one taught them how powerful the first hour truly is. That hour isn't about productivity. It's about positioning. Because before the world places demands on your energy, before your phone starts shouting other people's agendas, before urgency steals your direction, you were given a choice: to begin with intention or to begin with noise. And here's the quiet danger. Every time you skip that choice, every time you roll over, snooze again, scroll mindlessly, you send a signal to your subconscious. I don't lead my day, I follow it. And your brain believes that. It builds routines around that. It reshapes your identity around that, until it's no longer about what time you wake up, but who you think you are when you do. That's the real cost of waking up late. Not the lost hour, but the lost alignment. Because when you delay your direction, you dilute your voice. You hand over authorship of your day before you even begin writing it. And no one notices, except the future you were supposed to become. Covey didn't talk about waking up early to be productive. He talked about waking up with purpose to live in alignment. He taught that every day brings a choice: to act or to be acted upon, to lead from within or to react from without. That's the essence of habit 1. Be proactive. It's not about hustle. It's about authorship. When you open your eyes in the morning, you're not just waking up your body. You're waking up your identity. And Covey was clear. Private victories precede public victories. That means you don't gain control out there until you take responsibility in here. Not just for your time, but for your tone, for the way you speak to yourself in the first hour. Because if you begin each day in reaction, you're not living by values. You're living by circumstance. And Covey warned us, if we don't pause to define what matters, urgency will do it for us. So here's the invitation. Reclaim the hour not as a task, but as a turning point, a signal that says, today, I choose to lead me. Drop in the comments. What's one thing you're no longer willing to let urgency steal from your mornings? Let's get honest. You don't need a morning routine. You need a morning decision. The reason most people wake up late isn't just because they're tired. It's because they've trained their mind to avoid presence. Because presence is uncomfortable. It forces you to feel what you've been postponing. But if you want to reclaim your day, your life, it starts with this. Protect 1 hour before the world takes it. You don't need perfection. You need a pattern. Start by setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. Not 2 hours. Not 5 a.m. Just early enough to prove to your mind, I decide when the day begins. Don't reach for your phone. Reach for yourself. Sit up. Put your feet on the ground. Breathe. Ask one powerful question. Who do I want to be when no one is watching? Then write one sentence about the kind of person you're committed to becoming. After that, move, stretch, walk, breathe. Even 5 minutes is enough to tell your brain, we are not asleep anymore. And repeat that tomorrow and the next day, not to impress, but to align. Because the point isn't just to wake up early, it's to wake up on purpose, before the world starts pulling. You stand up and say, "This day has direction, because I gave it one." Pause for a second, not to change anything, just to notice. When did you start feeling like the day was already lost before it even began? When did mornings stop being a doorway and start becoming a delay? This isn't about waking up late. It's about waking up disconnected from yourself, from your values, from the version of you that once wanted more. Be honest. What's the first thing you reach for when you open your eyes? Is it clarity? Or is it escape? And underneath the rush, the scrolling, the snooze button, what are you avoiding? Maybe it's the shame of breaking promises to yourself. Maybe it's the fear that even if you try again, you'll fail again. But here's the truth. You don't have to carry that forward. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not again. You are allowed to interrupt the pattern, even if all you do is notice it. So take a deep breath. And if this moment felt like it was speaking straight to you, leave a like. Not for me, for you. As a quiet reminder, I still matter. And I'm still here. You don't become powerful by being perfect. You become powerful by being present, consistently, deliberately, quietly. And that begins with how you rise. Because the moment you stop starting your day in reaction, you stop living like a follower of your own life. You begin living like the leader of it. You no longer wake up wondering what the day will do to you. You wake up deciding what you'll bring to it. That's the shift. From, "I should," to, "I choose." From, "maybe tomorrow," to, "this moment is mine." And it changes more than your mornings. It rewires how you see yourself. Now, when your alarm rings, you don't hit snooze. You rise. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. Someone who honors their time. Someone who protects their voice. Someone who remembers their direction before the world distracts them from it. That's identity. It's not about what you say you value. It's about what you practice before anyone else is watching. And every morning you show up just for you. You're not just beginning a day. You're building a future. From the inside out. Some mornings don't begin with noise. They begin with a choice. A quiet hand reaching for the light. A breath before the scroll. A whisper that says, "Today, I return to myself." That's how change begins. Not with explosions, but with presence. And every time you choose to rise before the world takes hold, you're not just waking up. You're remembering who you are, what matters, where you're going. You're no longer reacting to your day. You're returning to it, fully, grounded, whole. Let the others keep rushing. Let the noise keep spinning. But you begin with stillness. You begin with leadership. You begin with intention. And in doing so, you become someone others can follow, because you've learned to lead yourself. If this video helped you remember something real, take a moment and subscribe, not for content, but for clarity, for consistency, for the kind of mornings that create the kind of life you were always meant to live. Because your hour is waiting, and so is your power.